I should say, Nori. So, if you see the prayer, that's why we don't say believe in the prayer, we don't say believe in the words. The prayer says, repeat these words and see what reveals to you. Okay? And let's take a step back completely. No prayer. I'm saying all whatever my life has presented to me today. There are so many dynamics are involved, of course. But mostly who is responsible? It's me who is responsible. It is my attitude towards myself and my life is responsible. And how did I become responsible? Because at every step I am willing. Means I'm making a will, a supposition, with sometimes with complete awareness. Sometimes there not much awareness, but those suppositions are happening, and which is pretty much driving my life. If I understand this very simple, basic formula, principle of life, what I am doing is, if those suggestions I am making in life are not helping me, it is creating more and more trouble for my life. The way I see a life, my life, the way life is presenting itself to me, I'm not liking it today. Why? Because I made all those suppositions. I made it work this way. So now what I'm saying is, so all these suppositions are my wishes. Don't think wishes as I want a BMW. I want a, if I have a $10 million house, I want $100 million house. That's not, it's very mundane. Those are not the things we are not referring to. All this, there is no right word for this in English. It is called sankalpa. I will it. What? I am willing it. It should happen like this. I am willing it. It's like when this 9/11 happened. The previous teacher Chariji said, somebody willed and wished for it, and so it happened. So immersed of any life, when it's presented to me, I willed it that way. And the nature has to accept that will I put out through my mind, heart, whatever you call it. It's coming much deeper than that. So if that is not going in the right direction, I have to change that direction of that will, so that my life is aligned properly, in tune, in harmony with the nature, in harmony with myself, and it has to become more and more congenial to me. Correct? I hope I am making sense. So even if you read this book called Secret, that's exactly what that book is talking about. I don't know if you have read that book. And this is exactly most of the teachers have been talking about. Not only heartfulness, in outside heartfulness, in many, but they're always struggling for the vocabulary to put it in the right way. So when Babaji came up with this prayer, he found this vocabulary. The basic idea behind that vocabulary is that I have to change this direction of my will according to the higher nature, which is already the principle within me. That principle is referred as master. So that higher principle, because it is within me, has the ability to nullify all these wishes which are directing me, misdirecting me all along. All these many suppositions, willing, or will I put it out to direct my life has gone. It has not gone the evolutionary way so far. So in that prayer, I'm kind of acknowledging, okay, this essence, higher essence within me, not outside me, within me is saying, now I'm kind of giving its power. When I say thou art the only God and power, I am the one who is giving it power. And I'm also saying, okay, now you in being in the higher essence, on my own soul, my own will, pull me there, pull my mind there. So if the way the prayer is working is on along these lines, but they put it in a way so that anybody can, even without understanding the deeper meaning, can start reciting and get to the deeper meaning. That's why it doesn't say this is the prayer which will solve your problems. This is saying this is the prayer. Meditate on the meaning. As you meditate, you go deeper and deeper, you find some solution there. But this is my solution, I'm telling you. So that when I subject myself to that higher essence within me, I'm nullifying all those wishes. When I'm nullifying all those wishes, it is kind of putting my mind on the higher evolutionary path. That's why I'm saying you, the essence, have the power. Work with me. Make me come to that stage where you are in a highest vibratory state, highest conscious state you are in. And who is that you are in is my own essence. So here, if I put this master outside as a human wants to deal with him, it's a very difficult task. If I want to take that principle within me, it's an easy task to deal with. Then you are getting into all these equations of me and somebody else, right? And there's always a resistance. Why should somebody take over my life? Is it not slavery? Right? So here, this master as a principle is within me, the higher essence within me, within you, within everybody. Whether they are subjected to heartfulness practice or not, regardless. This essence is in a pig, essence is in a dog, this essence is in an ant. It's the same essence. Can ant exercise that essence? It cannot. It doesn't have that consciousness, a level of consciousness to begin with. But the human has that level of consciousness to begin with to interact with this higher essence within. So that is why the way prayer I am doing it is, I am kind of bringing that essence into my life, which has been there all along. It is never separated. It was there in my previous life, even before. Even when I was an ant, it is there. So it is an evolutionary path. And in this evolutionary path, who am I using? My own higher essence. The external teacher is to interact with us in the same level. Can tell you, okay, this is what I found, my friend, you can also find it. I can help you as a mentor, not as a boss over you, boss over your mind. That's not the intent there. And that's why if I surrender my mind without any evolution, for example, to the master, as an external person or as an inner person, doesn't matter. It adds no value to me. Reason, what is the point in presenting that raw mind over there? It doesn't help. So we have to work with this method, we have to work with this process to evolve this raw mind into something subtle, something higher. And then I'm presenting myself this every day through the form of prayer. There is a transformation. Otherwise, it's a fanatism. There is no value add there. Oh, I have the greatest master. Oh, I surrender to him and I'm this, blah, blah, blah. There's no value. It leads to fanatism, nothing else. It doesn't lead to the real essence. So the whole idea of this heartfulness is not to get someone to this fanatic idea of a master. That defeats the purpose of this method and also the purpose of the master or the purpose of the guru. That's why it is not a differentiation between, oh, there is a guru and there is a disciple, not like that. There is a mentor and the seeker working together. And then it can happen. Right? So that's why this whole system of trainers and everything was created, so that this help can happen. Like we are now communicating in a language which we both can understand. Correct? But in the real thing which will happen is in the meditation and through the transmission. There are no words, there is no explanation, nothing. So this external guru has to be there to clarify these things. But the inner guru is the only one who gives the evolution. Who is the inner guru? It's your own higher essence. So there is that differentiation. If we understand the roles properly, we should not have any problem. And again, if I believe the guru, okay, I believe, so what? What's going to happen? Nothing is going to happen. My life will continue to be the same. Personally, I don't believe. If you ask me if I believe. And this is an honest answer. Okay. So, do I accept? Yes, first, I have accepted myself to take up this practice. And second, I'm working on this method and to see, I have seen a lot of change and to where I am right now from where I started today. Where I started 30 years back. My approach, my whole psyche has changed towards life. I don't know how I would have been. Okay, none of my classmates don't believe that I've changed. They see the old same guy, who is careless and who is very radical, who does things which should not be done, or who did things which should not be done. That's my picture, my pain, so that's why they don't really, even engage with me in discussion, because they have the same old impression of me.
Yeah, in fact, the same thing, I feel, that I trust the system, it works, but certain things when I read the literature, Sajmark literature and whispers, I really don't find them quite helpful. So I decided to just, leave it there. Is that going to really change my life or change me at all? I've been through many of them. So I'll decided just to leave it, just, do practice and.
Yeah. That's the main thing, right? Practice. When it comes to literature, there are few things which are helpful. Other things are maybe they don't apply to me. Or sometimes, as a way of communication and engagement, there is always some a general talk happens. Like you meet someone and you start talking, how is the weather? The weather doesn't mean anything to you or the other person. Or it is very sunny today. Yeah, it is an obvious thing you are stating. right? But it's a way of striking some conversation, establishing some communication, some BS, right? It doesn't have to add any value all the time. But there are, places where there is a tremendous value add. So it's like there's always the filtering mechanism. What is applicable to me? What is a value add to me, and what is not a real value add to me, and you drop it. A lot of times, especially in a religious studies or most of this, uh, you know, for example, if you are reading Lao Tzu, right? I don't know if you have ever got a chance to look at it. So it's a very short, precise book that is where it's all forced us to think every sentence because it's a very short and precise. Now, if I'm adding volumes to it, so there is it's about 80% of BS and 20% of value. But that 80% of BS engages you. If I only put that 20%, your mind cannot get engaged so well. So that's a way of engaging more than the teaching.
Yeah. And when I look at like truth, eternal, or reality at dawn, yeah, I mean, great. You read all these things, but even if I try to accept them, I feel like it's just a transferred knowledge. It's, I think in spirituality, I have to experience that myself in order to.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's always that's why all this most of the preaching is borrowed knowledge. But at least the idea with the heartfulness teachers, whether it's Lalaji or Babuji, what they have shared is it's not a borrowed knowledge, it's their experiential knowledge. So that's why it's very different. You don't find that content in any other books. If you come from,
I know, but for me, it's gonna be a borrowed knowledge because
for everyone else it's a borrowed knowledge. Yes, so that's why this borrowed knowledge is FYI. If I take the borrowed knowledge and if I claim I am knowledgeable, then I am a fake. Okay, I'm an imposter, a quack, right? But if that becomes my experiential knowledge, my experiential knowledge might be very different than what Babuji found. It doesn't mean the experiential knowledge has to match with it. Correct. So that's why we have to kind of draw that, use our wisdom to say, okay, this is where I draw the line. It's okay to draw the line. Okay. But the essential thing is get understanding and paying attention to this practice and see where it is taking me. Correct. So, all right. So let's start.